Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Ultimate Insider tonight. And we are going to uh, uh, finish up a few things here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go a little longer tonight since we didn't have a chance to really do the makeup for last week, and we need to finish up the marketing graphics product. And so that's pretty much what we want to do tonight. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them there in the box. And we will just kind of go ahead and get started fairly quickly here. Are there any questions on anything that you are trying to do? Any questions on anything? So if you have any questions, please feel free to write them there in the box, the question box here. Hey, any questions on anything, please feel free to write them there in the box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get my screen showing. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. And if there are no questions, then I am going to pretty much start with the week 4 content. It's really more like week 4 and 5. So I'm just going to kind of keep going until I finish it. Ordinarily, this might go 2 weeks. I'm not gonna. You're not gonna be here 2 hours. Probably not gonna even be here over an hour. But I do want to get through everything here tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop off, maybe about I'd say about 10 seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'll say no. I'm going to switch these. I'm going to switch these slides around. Okay, no, they're good. Actually, they're good. We're fine. Okay, so there are no questions. I'm going to drop off for 10 seconds, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, hello, everyone. Welcome to session 4 of the Marketing Graphics Toolkit. And we're going to talk about tonight some alternative ways to create your graphics. We have been talking about using Photoshop. We're going to do that again some tonight, but I do want to touch on a few other things that you can actually do to make unique graphics, probably I'd say particular or peculiar to a specific situation. And these are going to be some things that you can do that will probably come easy to you if you have done any anything with screenshots or anything like that. We're going to be talking about some of those things there tonight. So the Marketing Graphics Toolkit, we are focusing on the practical aspects of manipulating marketing graphics for your projects. And we're using primarily Photoshop Creative Cloud, and mainly because the principles are transferable into free programs like Paint.net. And what we're focusing on is information marketing. So while you can do graphics for just about anything, we're focusing on producing products that you're going to sell that have information basis, right? So what you're not doing necessarily in this case, even though you could probably use some of these same things if you're doing client work, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about here in this course. We're talking about creating something from something that you have or something you can produce, and then marketing that product. Now we're going to talk about adding graphics to documents. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. We've talked about manipulating 3D graphics, right? That's what we needed Photoshop for. We've talked a little about working with book covers. And we still need to work with photos. We're going to cut out the photo probably in what will be the last session. Tonight, we're going to work with backgrounds, and you're going to see how easy that's going to be for you to do, whether or not you're doing backgrounds for your PDF. If you're going to use Word, you're going to use PowerPoint, creating a background will be fairly easy as long as you know what your graphics are going to be. The goal of the course is for you to be comfortable using Photoshop for the daily situations that you're going to encounter as an information marketer. Now, this is not a comprehensive course on Photoshop. It doesn't have to be. The things that you have to know about Photoshop, they're probably going to be about 10 things. And we've gone over most of those things. And if you know how to do the 10 things we've pretty much already taught you how to do, that's going to be all that you have to know for certain, right, to be an information marketer and to benefit from Photoshop. Now, one of the, I guess, the cornerstones of this course is that you should try not to be a designer, right? Because typically when we try to actually do the actual design, it actually looks like it. If that's not your specialty, you want to buy the designs, right? That's the best use of your time and your money. You can buy those designs from various places. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight, but try to buy your designs and then learn how to manipulate them. And we're going to be talking about manipulating your designs here in this course, in particular tonight. Now, I want to start tonight by talking about what you need to ask your designer for. So let's say that you actually do find a designer, whether or not that designer is on the Warrior Forum, or you actually found that person on Facebook, or you got a recommendation. So I want to talk about what you need to ask them for in terms of your graphics. And you don't have to be a person that's selling graphics, right? And now I know as a PLR creator, I've probably got a different perspective on what I want from the person who's actually going to be creating my graphics, but you can have the very same thing. You don't have to be a PLR seller to do it in this way, and you don't have to be a PLR seller in order to benefit from it. And that's what I want to talk to you about, is how you can benefit from doing your designs in this way, or purchasing your designs. And what I suggest, and we have talked about this early on in the course, is that when you're starting to look for a designer, and this is kind of right off the top, start with the Warrior Forum, right? Before you go to the freelancer sites, in particular when you're an information marketer. You want to find a designer who knows how to work with information marketers, and that's going to be the people on the Warrior Forum. Now, again, you might be able to find someone who understands the style that you need on Upwork or one of the other freelancing sites, but typically, if you are an information marketer and you sell products to other information marketers and you want it to be, I guess, attractive enough so that it is eye-catching, it's attractive enough so that it gets the attention of another information marketer, the tendency is that you can benefit from somebody who is actually a participant on the Warrior Forum. Now, again, the Warrior Forum is not necessarily going to be the place I'm going to recommend that you go get marketing advice or product creation advice or affiliate advice, right? That's not what I'm saying about the Warrior Forum. What I am saying, though, is that if you want to find a designer, we have talked about this in other calls, that you can actually find someone in the Warrior Forum. Now, I'm going to actually go there just for a second. Right, and when you're able to actually find that warrior, that place, right, we get to the Warriors for Hire section. Right, if you recall, we can actually search this forum and we can find some designers who can make some things. Right, what we want to do is we want to find the right designer. We want to find somebody who's highly rated. We want to find somebody who's given other people a good experience. But they're going to be easy to find in this forum. And feel free to kind of go through a number of designers until you find the one that wants to work with you, or you find the one that can produce the graphics that you want to have. Right now, I suggest that when you're hiring a designer like this from the Warrior Forum, start with something really small, maybe a book cover, maybe an e-cover or a graphic set, a small graphic set. I would not necessarily meet a person for the first time and then put them on retainer or hire them out or contract them. Start with small jobs. Start with seeing how they deliver. Start with seeing out what they deliver, and then really get a handle on whether or not this is going to be somebody you want to work with. Now, you don't have to be in love with your designer, but you do need to have a decent relationship with them, and you do need to be able to explain things to them so that they understand what it is you want for your business, right? If you're gonna establish a longer term relationship with a designer. Now, once you have that designer, it would be recommended you ask for a deal, right? Ask for a deal. So if you know that the regular price is going to be, I don't know, $15 per ebook cover, but you're going to put this person on retainer, you're going to be paying them every month, you're going to give them a flat fee every month, ask for a deal, right? Ask them for a deal, either a break on the price, if you're going to contract with them monthly, or the amount of graphics you can get. Once you have a relationship with the person, right, and you do need to have that relationship with them, ask for a deal. Figure out a way to ask for the best possible deal that you can get for all of the graphics that you're going to be asking that person to actually produce for you. And again, now this is once you have, once you've been through a couple of cycles with them, they've done a couple of jobs for you, they've actually produced something that your people like. Whenever you can afford to put your designer on a retainer, then do that. What do I mean by retainer? In other words, you start paying them on a monthly subscription, and they give you everything that you want for that month. Now, again, you're going to have to do that within reason. You're going to have to kind of decide on in your mind what is a reasonable amount of graphics that you should be getting. But basically, you're doing this, you're putting them on retainer because they want to be assured of their income, right? And you want to be assured that you can actually ask somebody to produce graphics. And if you get to them ahead of time, they're actually going to have them to you on time, right? So if you can afford to put somebody on retainer as your designer, right? Now, if you don't produce enough, let's say in terms of sales, and it doesn't necessarily cover that, then no, don't go putting a designer on retainer. When your income depends on the designs they create, and you're doing it on a regular basis, then I think then it's time to start looking for a designer and to put them on retainer. Now, I'm going to suggest that if you really, if you're uncomfortable with the Warrior Forum, now in most cases you're going to be able to find somebody on the Warrior Forum, but if you don't want to go someplace like Upwork or one of the freelancer forums, you can put a question out on your social media feed. I'm going to suggest you be careful about that, because the advice that you're getting is going to be pretty random, right? And you're also going to get solicitation from it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But again, if you're really going to be relying on this design to help you sell, then what you want to do is you want to be careful about who you're going to be working with, and make sure you ask around, right? Make sure you ask around. Now, once you decide on who your designer is going to be, what you have to do, it is vital that you be, extremely explicit about what it is you want in a design. You have to be almost to the point where you might seem just overly obsessed about details, but be that detailed. Be that much of a stickler, and not ahead of time, right? Now, again, once the person actually starts to work, you don't want to be getting involved and interfering with what they're doing, but you do want to be specific as you can, almost nitpicky up front about what it is you want in your design, because you're not going to get a chance to redo a design, and you're going to have to pay for that design anyway. So you do want to be as I'd say as structured in your thinking as you possibly can. Be specific about the kind of colors you want, right? If you want dark colors because you're trying to communicate something, if you want light colors, if you want bold colors, be specific about the colors, right? Whenever you spell it out for the designer, if you can, right, give them an image that has the color in it that you want, or the theme. You can actually spell out mood to designers. So in other words, do you want this to be dark and dreary and drab? Do you want it to be exciting? Do you want to communicate trust? Do what you can to communicate the mood of the graphics. And again, a designer will know what you're talking about. Right now, it might sound a little airy-fairy and kind of ephemeral, but if you spell that out to a designer, they're going to know what you're talking about when you start talking about the mood. It's also related to the tone. Right? What do you want the tone to be? Do you want the tone to be serious? Do you want the tone to be jovial? Do you want the tone to be happy? Do you want the tone to be professional? What do you want the tone to be? Right? Again, spell this out up front to the designer before they get started. Make sure they know what you're talking about. And then Now, I have had this, and I think I have said this on a call. I'm going to suggest that you and I would restrain from putting people in our designs, right? In your designs. Again, um, I sort of realize sometimes people will put designs in there that kind of make them that make them feel good about the product. But again, now, this is not necessarily going to be about how you feel about the project. It really is about what your customer is going to feel, and make sure, right? Make sure that when you start talking about putting people on your designs, that you're sure it's going to convert. You're sure it's going to make a difference. Otherwise, leave people out of it, right? Because if I don't see someone, let's say, that makes me resonate, right? If I see somebody and they don't resonate with me, then I'm already turned off to the product, right? You don't have to put somebody in there that resonates with me directly, but you don't want to put somebody in there that's definitely not going to resonate with me. And it's really no way of telling when you put a person into your product, or when you put a person into the design, whether or not they're going to resonate with people or not. Right now, get a base reusable format. Get a base reusable format. What do I mean? Make sure you get a flat graphic at minimum, with no action. So you can edit the flat graphic. Again, you can actually put this inside of an action once you understand how. But get a flat graphic, a PSD file with no action. So it doesn't take an action in order for you to see it. It is a flat graphic. Ask for editable PSDs, right? Ask for editable PSDs. So you want to be able to change, something in the image. Ask the designer if they will deliver to you editable PSDs. Now, in some cases, they might want to charge you extra for some of this stuff, but you want the PSDs, right? You want and need to have those PSDs. Make sure they deliver some of the products or some of the graphics in PNG files, right? In PNG files. And one of the reasons is that you can actually have a transparent background with a PNG file, right? Very difficult to do some of the other backgrounds, right? So again, make sure that PNG file is what you get. Now, you are going to have cases where you're going to get JPEG files, right? That's fine. But when it starts coming down to how how your business operates or how something's going to operate, you want to make sure you have the PNG file. Right? Any questions so far on what we've covered? Any questions on anything we've covered so far? All right, so I want to talk a little bit about alternative graphics creation. Alternative graphics creation, and really and truly, right? We've talked a little bit about whether or not you want to use Photoshop or whether or not you want to use something else. And again, if you can, right, do both. I mean, I don't think it should be even or. So if you have something, it creates great graphics, use it. But even if it creates okay graphics, Photoshop does just about everything. And we've shown you how to use Photoshop, enough of it, so that you can produce something as long as you get the design. So again, I would not give up on any of your third-party graphics creators. I would also not give up on Photoshop, right? Let's talk a little bit about Photoshop. I'm going to do a little bit of review. And so let's kind of open up Photoshop here. And so let's just grab an image here. And I'm going to grab this one. I'm not even sure what this is. Okay, let's see. No, that's a sales page. That's a sales page. I don't want to do that one. Let's open up another one. And let's open up. Well, let's go ahead, and I do want to open up. I do want to open up not that. Let's see. Okay, so let's open up first the flat design so we can kind of talk about that. Notice that that's a PSD file. Right, I'm going to open up that flat design. So I don't have permission to open that one. Let's see. Let's open up. Let's open up the online course builder. And we do that. Let's open up the flat design. Okay. Now again, we're just going to we're going to kind of go through a little review here. And what you'll notice is that I have opened up a flat design, right? So one of the first things you're going to see here is that I have 3 fonts, right? That are not part of my font list. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go and obtain those fonts. I'm actually only going to obtain one of them here for the sake of time. So I'm going to actually go and I'm going to take a look for that font, Genesue. I'm going to take a look for Genesue. Right, here's Genesue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this font. Okay, this one says it's for demo use only. And you'll actually have to pay one. Okay, so let's see, that's going to be a cursive sort of writing there. What we're going to do is we're going to just resolve all these. Right, and then I think that what we have here is fine. So I'm not going to make any changes to the font. We've resolved all the fonts. And basically, when I come to this page, what am I trying to do? Well, I'm trying to alter this so that it actually will work in some of my other designs. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to first start with this phrase. I'm actually going to go and find some of the other information here. Okay, so that's live. So I'm going to write in here. And I'm going to highlight this one. I'm going to call this free report. I'm going to slide this over. Okay, so now I have an entire design. Remember, what we do here is we just go and select the entire design. We copy it merged. And then what we're going to do, now I don't have my actions on here. Let's see if there is an available action here. Okay, so we're going to have to find an action. And I'm going to open up Cover Action Pro. And we can find Cover Action Pro. We're going to go into eCovers. Actually, this is going to be in Photoshop Graphics. And I'm going to go into Cover Action Pro. We're going to find some actions here. I'm going to find a book action, hardback books, and then I'm going to move some of these actions into the actions area. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create right? You notice we've got a cover, we've got the spine. And so remember, one of the things we can do is we can create a new layer. We're going to copy, merged, and then we're going to come into this cover and we're going to click paste. We're going to stretch this out. Let's see, this is not adjusting. Let's see, this one's not sizing up for me. Okay, let's try another image here. And let's open up our layers. Okay, I'm going to grab another image here. Something is apparently... All right, let's select all, copy merged. And then we're going to paste. Something is not working a little differently here. Okay, there we go. All right, we're going to add in one more layer. And we need to find the paint bucket here. All right, and then we're going to change this to black. And let's put one more layer on here. All right, and now we are going to render the action. Okay, slightly different. And then I'm just going to take the background out. Okay, so basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to fit in your flat graphic into an action, and then to take that action and then make it into your 3D image, right? So that's just a general review. This is working a little differently than the previous versions of Photoshop, but again, it all pretty much works the same, that you're basically going to manipulate that the flat graphic. What I did not do in this particular case is work with the free transform link, but typically this will be enabled by default. It was not enabled by default, so that's really kind of took the time here in determining how to manipulate that image. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about a mini hack for Microsoft Word. Just something that you can do quick and dirty in order to make your documents a little more unique. You can also do this inside of PowerPoint in much the same way, but it's going to be a little easier here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the design, and we're going to go to the watermark. And what we're going to do is we're going to custom watermark this, and we're going to do a picture watermark. Now that picture watermark can be anything that you want, right? So we can decide that we're going to get a file here, and it can be anything that we want to use. And what we're going to do here is we're going to wash it out a little bit. We're going to bring that down to maybe auto scale it. Okay, so you'll notice that there's a transparent image in the background. And so again, you can do this with your Microsoft Word documents very easily if you have a graphic that represents everything that you're trying to do. And again, all this graphic is going to do is just appear in the background of all of your pages. Right, very quick and dirty way of redesigning your pages and giving them a more professional look. You can do the same thing with Microsoft PowerPoint. Right, if we bring PowerPoint up here and we bring our site down and we go to the design area, right, we can format the background and we decide to do a picture fill. And we get that picture from a file and we get it from that bundle. Right, now one of the things that we can do is we can actually take the transparency and make it more transparent so it appears really in the background. And again, all we've really done here is we've taken an image very quickly and then we've moved it to the background, right, of the PowerPoint. Okay, so that's your PowerPoint mini hack. So let's talk about screenshot additions. Right, so if you're already using a screenshot program, one of the things that you can do incorporate into Photoshop, right, are your screenshots. Right, I'm just going to open up Snagit very quickly. Snagit is going to open up here. Okay, so let's open up Snagit. Okay, now one thing about Snagit is this. Once you actually have it open, right? Now let's just say we're going to just kind of cut this out. Right, we're going to take this, we're going to cut into it and create an image. Right, Snagit's going to bring that up. Now, much the same way that we did with our Microsoft documents, and we can color this in, and we can actually do a lot of quite a bit with this right here on this page, right? And so one of the things that we can do is we can notate these images before we actually turn them into your real graphics. Now, again, when we actually save this graphic, we're going to save this as a PNG file if possible, right? Because again, the PNG file is going to be, it's going to have a transparent background. So we want to save that as a PNG file. Okay, you can also create graphics with video editing, and I'm going to actually go into a video here, and I'm going to close up Snagit. Because we probably got quite a bit running here, so I want to make sure all of this is closed. And one of the things I can do is I can actually open up a file here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, let's see, I'm going to open up a video. So let's open up something different here. Okay, now one of the things that we can do in terms of creating a relevant graphic is when we're actually doing our video edit, and if we're doing it inside of Camtasia, you can actually do this inside of most video editors, is right from the actual video editor, you want to be able to create screenshots. And so in this particular case, I'm just going to hit Control F. And what that's going to do is I'm actually going to put a PNG file in our Dropbox, or I'm sorry, in our inbox. I'm going to close out of that. And basically, one of the things that I can do with my PowerPoint is that I can actually insert either a screenshot or an image. Right, in this particular case, I'm going to insert an image. And then I can make sure that this is sized up. Appropriately. And so one of the things that you can actually do with some of your videos is that as you are watching it, or if you're editing it, what you can do is actually create your own slides from that video. Now, again, this is not, it's a probably a tedious process, but it makes for a more valuable product when you can actually do that. Right. So again, you can do that right from your video editor. Okay, any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop here. And in the last session, I think I will just go ahead and do a last session instead of trying to do a double session. What I will do in the next session is we will actually cut out a photo in Photoshop, and that'll be the last session. And I'll try to do that this weekend. I didn't have a chance to do the second one this weekend. So what we'll do is we will actually cut out a photo in the last session. Right? Any questions at all? Any questions about anything we've done? Okay, any questions? Oh, well, thanks, Dana. Thanks. And what we'll do is we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up with cutting out photos, and we'll try to get this done this weekend. I've got one session I need to make up with you, and we'll try to catch it up this weekend. All right. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.